Discussion keeps the world turning.
This is Roundtable.
You're tuned into Roundtable. I'm Steve Hatherley today with Yushan and Yushun. Coming up on today's Soapbox, a former boss, a social media post, and a legal battle over an age-related word. Was it really, though, just about the insult or perhaps something bigger? Today we'll go to court to find out what happens when an insult goes too far. Our podcast listeners, that is you, can find us at Roundtable China on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget, we love to hear your voice. So send your emails our way. Send your voice notes our way. Here's how you do it. roundtablepodcast@qq.com. Once again, roundtablepodcast@qq.com.
What are the things to say?
Hear ye, hear ye. Please gather round. It's time for the Soapbox.
It is time for this week's Soapbox. It's our segment where we find something that's been circulating online and it made us feel, or made the internet feel, a certain kind of way. We bring in the story, share it with you, and then tell you how we feel about it. Now, this particular story today is an interesting one to me because it's very culture specific, Chinese culture specific, about one little word.
Yeah, that's where it all started, isn't it? I'm starting with it too. That word that has become surprisingly popular among young people in China lately. Lao Deng. Literally, it sounds like a pretty direct insult toward an older person, male particularly. But online, it has become much more complicated than that.
So what is the actual definition of Lao Deng? Is it like middle-aged man?
Kind of.
With a condescending filter on a middle-aged man who is like overly criticizing on younger generation, refusing to accept things in a fresher angle, and
stubborn.
Yes, insisting that their experience makes them right, and if you follow my path, you're gonna win it. If you follow my path and you don't win it, that's you not working hard enough.
Stubborn middle-aged man who likes to tell people what to do and always thinks their opinion is right.
Oh,
Perfectly
exactly. You understood it so correctly. That's exactly how, how people will imagine or picture a Lao Deng is.
And that's why this is considered a negative term in certain contexts.
Yeah.
And in the case that went to court, it certainly was considered to be a negative context.
You see, this term, even though originally started off as a condescending term, it gradually gets softens and becoming more jokingly than really as insulting anyone. But we're really surprised to see that actually somebody got sued because she called somebody else Lao Deng. So this is how it happened. One young woman, let's call her Xiao Liu, she left her job and later posted about her former boss on her WeChat Moments. So her former boss, known as Lao Cai, is a 40-year-old man, and she called him a 40-year-old Lao Deng and said that he had a strong old person smell. She also accused him of trying to take advantage of her, deliberately delaying her salary and forcing her to resign. She ended the post with a rather brutal line, "I wish you a peaceful old age."
So the boss, the 40-year-old boss, the man, he saw the post, he was not amused, and he actually took her to court. And when he took her to court, he argued that her post on WeChat Moments had damaged his reputation because of the age-related insult. She called him Lao Deng, and in the context of her post, it was not seen, in his opinion, it was not seen as playful. It was not seen as loving or kind. It was seen as a kind of an attack on his personality or his character or something like that. And that's why he took her to court. He asked her to delete the posts. He asked her to apologize publicly and asked for more than a 5,000 yuan fine in compensation.
You see, this is where things get really interesting because during the court's mediation, the preliminary view actually was that the problem it's not simply because of the using of the word Lao Deng, but a combination of Lao Deng, old person smell, and the unverified accusation against a specific individual. So in that context, this language went beyond ordinary online joking and could actually cause harm to the individual's fame and reputation. Like this becomes, well, I'm joking on my own WeChat friend circle, turned from that to, well, I'm actually harming somebody's reputation.
So I don't know who was in her WeChat friends circle. I don't know if the story said it. I don't know if he was involved in the WeFriends chat circle either.
I mean, there's got to be some crossing, like
Some
former
connection.
colleagues.
Yeah, maybe he was just informed about it. So what was how did the court case end up then?
Well, Xiaoliu, as requested, posted an apology on her WeChat Moments, which she has already completed by now, and also Lao Cai agreed not to pursue the matter further. So maybe it started off as just a lawsuit that Lao Cai is trying to earn back his reputation, but it got kind of snowballed onto social media and is causing an online influence that it was not meant to at the very beginning. So right now it's already a closed case and it's already peacefully solved. But
Online, the discussion has not
yeah,
ended.
like people were saying, was it really just about one word? Not really, because Lao Deng has developed a, well, sort of like evolutionary life of its own online. And today, in the real target of calling someone or being called by other people of Lao Deng isn't necessarily age itself. It's the feeling of being old-fashioned, preachy, like we mentioned, how self-important these people are. And yeah, like it's supposed to remain on the joking side, but people now see the potential of how serious this can get.
So this is why I wanted to do this story today, because it's just one word. But one word, and I know that even the court said it's not just the word, but it was the word in addition to what other things she put in her WeChat posts. So we will never know. If she only said that, though, I have a question for you. If she only posted that and she didn't say like, oh, you smell like old people or whatever she said, then do you think the court is going to side with him anyway?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And I don't even know really deeply about the word.
I feel like I can understand both sides now, on the one side, because we don't know what actually happened between these two people, so we cannot just judge or standing from the point of view of this younger woman, right? We can always say, okay, the older one is the one who made the bad decision. So from one side it is the words, and the choosing of the words is kind of age discrimination, using the words to say that. And from another side is that, okay, the younger woman is actually not fighting because she's already left the job. So she's kind of, just claiming for her own rights and maybe getting some other feedbacks from her like colleagues or former colleagues.
So from what I understand too about this word, Lao Deng, is that it doesn't always mean something bad. It doesn't always mean a negative thing. You can use this with your friends or with your, I don't know, tell me wherever I'm wrong, with your friends, with your family workers, with your coworkers. You can use this word, but it all depends on the context, whether people will get upset or not. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. Because now young people are calling themselves different types of deng instead of just Lao Deng. So I just checked. I have a chart in my hand right now. Sometimes people call themselves 中等 as long as they qualify as aged between 26 to 30 years old. So 中等, middle-aged 等, and sometimes even 小等 or little 等. That's for people between 21-year-old to 25 years old. So you see, the joke isn't really about old people anymore, even though that's where the term actually originated from. And the self-mockery tone of things actually mean more than just calling ourselves certain names, but rather young people are acknowledging the very fact that, yep, we're at that age too, and we're going to get old.
I see.
Or sometimes young people just find themselves, okay, it is hard to not give a speech. And at that moment, people call themselves, okay, I am having 灯味儿, the smell of 灯.
Or the tendency of
It
telling
being
other
like
people
a
to do
Lao Deng.
things.
Yeah. It's probably just inevitable that in the workplace you have to tell somebody what to do.
Do you see yourself telling, like, for example, a 25-year-old to do like a paper for Roundtable in a few years' time, you should?
I can feel that. I can feel a little bit of 灯味儿 when I was, because back then there was an intern in our group and telling her how to write a paper, how to maybe structure the format. It is
So those are the dung qualities? Even though you're not doing it in an angry way,
No.
you're not doing it in a I'm better than you way. You were just trying to help though, right?
Yeah. And you have to be really, really careful not to have 灯 quality.
Oh.
You see, many people of all different ages, middle-aged or not, are already doing this whole self-conscious, self-reflection thing. Because among many of us with authority or professional influence or even just experiences with what we do, there is already a real concern about whether something we say might sound too dung or sound too preaching
Preachy.
to other people.
And apparently now some middle-aged people are becoming more conscious of their own language and their own behavior, and they're asking, oh, wait a minute, is that sounding too much? Like, it's really put the topic at the forefront of people's minds.
You know who does this best in our team or in our entire office that I've come to realize?
Who?
Lai Ming.
Which is why, Lai Ming, usually we have our own kind of moment where we share, but this time it's going to be Lai Ming's soapbox.
I don't mind being called Lao Deng by my friends or colleagues or family members because I have a lot of trust for them and I trust them not to use the word in a derogative form on me. The word Lao Deng in its original form in a dialect in one part of China used to describe the kind of older men who initiate unwanted interactions with women. Talk about lectures or skirt chases in the English language. But it's interesting to observe how the meaning of the word has evolved in our times. Now with teenagers or even children going online at an increasingly earlier age, the average age of internet users has gone down to a point where someone around the age of 40 might be considered old and fall into the category of Lao Deng. In fact, Lao Deng oftentimes is used to describe a demographic over the internet. There's Lao Deng films made for men of a certain age. So the word has lost significant amount of its derogative connotation. So I believe that's another reason why people find it easier to be called Lao Deng or to call themselves Lao Deng. But again, that's among people we trust. If it's a random stranger who abuses you with the term, that's perhaps harder to swallow.
Can you feel that? I mean, can you? We love Lai Ming, we respect Lai Ming, but can you feel that smell? I mean, the quality of Deng. Even his soapbox, he's trying to teach you something, and that's what exactly Lao Deng do.
But
let me teach you something.
But what Lai Ming does the best, especially after he tries to teach you something, it's always like, oh, am I sounding too dung to you? But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Oh, to protect against.
There's a little shield he creates for himself.
Yeah.
This is fascinating. Now, this is specifically for men. Is there no term for women, like middle-aged women who, I don't know, have some of the same qualities or different qualities? Is there no term? Is there no equivalent?
I mean, office relationship-wise, there's rarer cases.
But there's no term.
think.
There's no specific term.
But
Not
you can
that we-
still describe a female as Lao Deng
Oh.
because
We do?
it's kind of a like gender neutral term to my point
That's
of view.
beyond my area of expertise in terms of this word. But yeah, it could be. It could be.
By the sounds of Lai Ming's explanation, or at least how he feels about it, the internet has kind of, in a ice cup kind of way, watered down this
Yes.
term to the point that maybe it doesn't have the same strong meaning as it used to. Would that be fair to say? I mean, Lai Ming implied that, maybe a long time ago it meant like middle-aged men who chase women and blah, blah, blah. So there was a real negative connotation there. And maybe exclusively negative connotation. But now people are using it more playfully.
Yeah, because between maybe friends and especially men, we would just like to insult each other, and using these kind of with a
Excuse me, men who are friends who like to insult each other.
yeah,
That's a thing.
And calling each other Lao Deng is the way that we call
very
each
much
other.
a thing. Yes. Yeah.
So no matter it's
Really, calling each other Lao Deng is a playful insult amongst younger men.
that's what I do. I call my friends Lao Deng, and sometimes I call myself Zhong Deng. So that is the way of, as we discussed before, mocking ourselves or making fun of each other.
When we had the meeting, and we have meetings twice a week on Roundtable to discuss which topics we will choose. And I forget whether it was I who brought this topic to the meeting or someone else, but when the term Lao Deng came up in the meeting, this is how the discussion went. I said, what's a Lao Deng? And everybody replied like, oh, it's this middle-aged man, blah, 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 blah. And then I looked at Yushin, who was sitting to my left, and I said, Yushin, wait, am I a Lao Deng? And then from across the room, Yushan answers my question that was directed to Yushin with this, yes.
I didn't notice it.
Oh, I noticed it immediately.
I think I said something like 100%.
You asked me, Yushin, before the show, if there was an English equivalent to Lao Deng, and I was trying to think if there's any term that you could call a middle-aged man in English that would be like considered rude or derogatory, and I don't know what that word would be for a man. I mean, maybe just calling them like a middle-aged man.
It's already insulting
That's
enough.
might already do it. But then in English language culture too, there are terms, and I'm maybe not the best person to answer this, but I think terms for women, like if you call a younger woman maybe ma'am or something like that, that might be considered a little bit rude, but I'm not.
Really?
Well,
I thought it's a term to imply politeness when you don't necessarily know that female individual that well.
Yeah, I should preface this by saying, again, I'm not an expert on this one, but I've seen it in movies where it's age related, right? So like a younger woman in her 20s or something, or maybe on the borderline of like starting to look a little bit older. If you said ma'am a long time ago, MAAM was reserved for older women.
Oh.
So to refer to a younger woman like that might be a little bit, I don't know. The reason I can relate to this, though, is because I lived in Korea for a long time, and it's kind of the same thing. They have words in Korean, too. And I learned through firsthand experience how terrible it can be. There's two terms in Korean. One is agashi, that's for like young woman. And then ajuma is like married woman with children, middle-aged something. What you never do is call a young woman in her 20s ajuma. If you do, you better run in the other direction. And I learned that one firsthand by mistake. So there's no equivalence here in Chinese language culture.
Well, the way I see it is that the myths of all of these terms, regardless of which culture or language it is from, as long as it's neutral to a way that it doesn't necessarily point out to one particular age group and have that condescending or insulting meaning to it, or implying that this is bad, then I think it's okay to treat it on a joking level, like you guys said, like use it between male friends, since it's not really taken that seriously usually.
Yeah, that's what Lai Ming said too, right? He said, I don't mind being called Lao Deng by my friends or my colleagues or my family members because of the relationship there. Same with you, Yushan?
Yeah, me too. And I think that is how people talk to each other now, because, using these kind of words, it is, the more insulting that you are using to each other, prove that you are close enough to use these kind of words. If you are too respectful to each other, people may even think that. I think that is also in
that's
Chinese
also
culture,
weird.
right?
It's weird.
Yeah,
if you're,
think about when you're being with your family members, do you just say, with all due respect, I would like to have dinner with pork tonight?
That's when you are inviting trouble.
Right?
oh, really?
So
That sounds like it.
So when you're talking to, a close family member or friend, just using these kind of mocking words is how you make the conversation more natural.
Well, you don't sound like a Deng at all to me. You shouldn't.
Oh, thank you very
I can
much.
give accreditation
Even though I'm
on that.
reaching that.
I'm waiting. I'm sitting here literally waiting for the same compliment. Which is not going to come. All right. Well, I guess I'll have to live with that. That'll do it for today's roundtable. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. For Yushan and Yushen, I am Lao Deng, proudly. And we'll see you next time.